In the darkness, some pony coughed. Who was it? Silence reigned. Who? A dim violet light sprang into being. Twilight Sparkle's horn barely illuminated the cramped, windowless room and the 6 ponies within. A world of dark purples and inky blacks sprang into being, colors distorted by the monochrome aura of the magical implement. Shadows pulled in the corners, lurking just beyond the reach of the unicorn's spell. Rainbow watched as Twilight glared at each of their friends in turn. None spoke. Silhouettes danced along the walls as the unicorn moved her head, causing the light to jerk and shift. Pinkie Pie huddled near the barred door, eyes wide and uncomprehending as she stared off into the uncertain distance. The baker twitched slightly, squeezing the bag of flour that she clutched so tightly to her chest. On the room's only bed, Rarity lay next to Applejack, her head buried in the farmer's shoulder. The dressmaker shook as she sobbed quietly. Dash didn't know whether the unicorn's distress was because of their situation or because of their hygiene. The room reeked of unwashed bodies, and Rarity's mane, like every pony else's, was tangled and knotted and hung heavily with filth. Applejack, for her part, merely stared stolidly back at Twilight Sparkle when the library's gaze turned to her. And then those eyes were on Dash, and then Fluttershy. The two were locked in an embrace. It was the only comfort they had in the room. The weather pony found her voice when the other Pegasus began to shudder. What does it matter? Twilight Sparkle's brow furrowed. Get serious, Dash. It's better for the 5 of us to get through this than none of us. Coughing is the only warning we get. Fluttershy's whisper carried well enough in the unclosed space. Couldn't we wait and see? It could just be dust or cold. Please? I really wish that we could risk it, Fluttershy, Twilight said, the sharp edge of her voice softening slightly. But there's no going back once it reaches this final stage. You saw what happened out there. Do you really want that in here? Applejack sighed and spoke up. She's right, Cube. It's not contagious till immune. We got a choice to make: 1 death or 6. Rainbow Dash gritted her teeth. Isn't there anything that can be done? Can you magic cure it? Stop it! Slow it down! She paused, and added in a hoarse whisper. Anything? The unicorn shook her head. Even the princess can't cure it. She can only contain outbreaks that do happen. Every carrier has to die. That's the only way the rest of us can be safe. The only way the rest of Equestria can be safe. You know that, Dash. Time matters here. Why are you stalling? The weather pony's mouth worked, but no words came forth. I wish it could be any other way, Twilight said. The rainbow-maned Pegasus looked over her shoulder to meet the eyes of the mare she loved. Fluttershy had taken the Earth Pony's advice. They stared at each other silently for a moment. Eventually, Dash found the words, as insufficient as they were. I'm sorry. I love you. I'm so sorry. The Pegasus replied, voice shaking. I love you too, and I forgive you. It's better this way. Just make sure somebody takes care of animals when this is all over. Everything's back to normal. Rainbow Dash whispered. I promise. She took careful aim. One buck. It will be quick. Fluttershy deserved that much at least. When she was sure she'd connect, vision or not, she spoke. Cut the light, Twilight. No pony should have to see this. The horn's glow disappeared. Years of running and kicking clouds has honed Dash's muscles. She reared up on her front legs, gathered all of her strength, and kicked out. She connected, and a dull thud was accompanied by the sensation of warm droplets splattering across her flank. It was followed by a high-pitched moan from the agonized pony behind her. Rainbow Dash reacted to Fluttershy's continued suffering without thought. She reared again and bucked repeatedly, steadying herself and adding force with swift flaps of her wings. On the fourth kick, the other mare's caning stopped with a sickening crunch. The withered mare's hooves dropped back to the floor and stood shaking, her eyes wide and her heart beating nearly out of her chest. Her fetlocks were drenched with sticky blood. She could feel it beginning to clot. She wondered despite herself whether the meth would stain, whether her coat will always bear the red residue of her deed. She went quietly to herself. Silence reigned. In the darkness, some pony coughed.